Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What's going on? What's going on to all my embracers? Well, it's Thursday night and we at it again on these YouTube streets. I'm going to bring up my co-host right away. I'm Gary, but HR's in the house right now and we have to get some things put on the table before this show starts. So let's get to it right away. 1, we talk respectfully to each other. 2, do not overtalk each other, especially the host of the show. And 3, everybody works on the 3-strike rule. I give you 3 opportunities to behave accordingly. If not, you will get kicked off or blocked. I hate to put it in this manner, but I am trying to grow and I am trying to have a graceful channel. So please abide by the rules. HR was reached out last week because certain things happened. So I was told that I had to give these guidelines out before the show. So with that being said, welcome to the Embrace the Grace channel. I really appreciate you coming through. We got a hot topic tonight. I got a couple good new panelists that are coming on. I got someone else who I'm also collaborating with. I'm very excited about it because we're both trying to grow. We both got the same like mindset, and that's why we clicked. As y'all know, I'm always on these YouTube streets reaching out and networking. And of course, you guys can find me here on YouTube. You can find me now every Thursday night on the JVJ network. You can find me also at Boardwalk Global Media. I am also connected to that network, and I'm also now connected to the Unfiltered Polo Blue channel. So you can check me out there on Thursday nights. And of course, you can check me out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, WhatsApp, and Snapchat. I have an email address. You guys want to reach out, don't hesitate. Don't forget to like, get me in that algorithm, get my peoples in the algorithm so we can grow and we can really start making a difference in these YouTube streets. So with that being said, and no further ado, let me go ahead and bring up my co-host Gary. He's with me. He's been rocking with me since the first of the year, and he's been co-hosting with me because he believes in the channel and he believes in me. So Gary, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm good. Everything's cool. I'm glad to be here and be a part of the show. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, because I guess It froze for a moment. Okay, so as I was saying, hey everyone, I'm Gary D. I'm so glad to be a part of the show. I support Grace 1,000,000%. She has an awesome platform here. We talk about the real topics. We have the real discussions. I'm from Boardwalk Global Media. We're a multimedia podcast company. We have about 7 different shows, but we're on hiatus now. But we'll be back September 7th for our 4-year anniversary. Don't miss that. You could catch us on Facebook, Boardwalk Global Media, YouTube, Boardwalk Global Media, Instagram, Boardwalk Global Media, and also the Real Discussion on Facebook and Instagram, the Real Discussion. And I turn it back over to Grace.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. So now I'm going to go ahead and bring up Unfiltered Polo Blue. He is going to go ahead and introduce himself, and he is going to let us know where we can find him. Welcome to the show, Blue. Thank you for coming. I really, really appreciate it. Tell us what you're about and where we can find you.
All right, thank you, Grace. Good afternoon, Gary. Nice to meet you. I have a channel on Instagram just coming over to the YouTube side. I normally do Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Central. Unfiltered for a reason, kind of a no-holds-barred relationship conversation, and giving a Southern gentleman's perspective on how things work, on what's best for men and women, and really critical on the men. And I give grace. But like I said, Monday through Thursday.
We heard Monday through Thursday. What else, sir?
8 p.m. Central.
Okay. All right. So with that being said, go ahead. Is there a little delay?
Yeah.
Can you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Can you guys hear me good though?
Yeah. Now I can hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear me, Gary?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So let's get into it. We can hear you. And yeah, I got my wine already, Blue, because I know that this one's gonna be another hot topic. You know, especially for the ladies, because again, my channel is about advocating for men. We've been pointing our fingers at men for a long time. We've been blaming men for all of our problems. We've been blaming men for all of our mishaps, when at the end of the day, it's all about accountability. So my goal is to turn the mirror on women and show them that they're fucking up too. And in a lot of big ways. So with that being said, because of the issues that we had last week, and the fact that I did have to boot somebody off my show, it made me think we need to learn how to resolve conflict. I mean, we endure conflict in every day, in every aspect of our lives, in relationships, at work, with our parents, with our kids, with our pets, and anything across the board. But it's not the conflict that defines us, it's how we handle the conflict that really defines who we are and our character. But a lot of us really weren't taught, Gary and Blue, on how to deal with conflicts. A lot of people were shown how to deal with it in a toxic way. Again, me and Gary every week stress on the importance of communication, effective communication. And not only effective communication, but we have to be able to comprehend and interpret what the other person is trying to communicate to us. I mean, Blue could tell me one thing and I could take it another thing and go run with it and think a totally different thing. And then that's where conflict arises. So with Gary, with that being said, give me your perspective on what you think conflict is. Give me a little bit.
Well, I mean,
give me a little bit about what you think about conflict.
Well, I mean, listen, when we're talking about conflict resolution, it's the ability to handle or diffuse a situation in a mature manner. You know, I could put it as simple as that, but I'm not going to go into a big spiel. But yeah, it's having the emotional ability to diffuse, you know, certain situations that you may be in that is probably charged, right? And it takes someone who has an emotional maturity to kind of dial it down and sort of work with the other person in trying to resolve whatever the situation is.
I know that's right. Okay, Blue, give me your perspective on what conflict is to you.
So with me, I'm told that I'm polarizing. I'm told that I run to the fight. I invite conflict, but how I resolve it is, in my mind, nobody really wants to argue with me. So I come across peaceful. I come across like I've had people say some negative things to me on these IG and YouTube streets, and I don't return the same energy because I actually want a positive outcome no matter what it is. You can't say anything that's going to derail me because I want a positive outcome. Even if you say something derogatory towards me, I'm not going to receive it. I'm gonna say, well, that's okay. Like, for example, if Gary were to say, hey, you don't know what you're talking about, well, that's fine. But my subscribers say that I do, and my education says that I do. So let's continue to have this discourse. Let's continue to have this conversation. And a lot of people will say things negative to trigger you, to try to get you off your kilter or whatever the case. And if you want positive outcome, if you are not easily triggered because you know they're either making it up or they're embellishing something just to try to get you to say something that you don't mean. Many people have tried. It doesn't really, because like I said, I want positive outcomes. I don't look at anybody, like there's people I won't deal with going forward, but that don't mean I have to say anything negative about you, especially publicly. I'll just say, hey, look, maybe we're not meant to associate with each other. So best of luck to you in all your endeavors. And I'm just going to move the way I move without communicating with you. Now, some people they find that very irritating, but there's nothing else I can really do. And I really sincerely don't want ill will on anybody. Because there was actually, I'm gonna give you an example. So I was on Sir Hale's on Sunday. I can't remember his name, but he said that Kiki and her guy were cancers, and he wished nothing but the worst for them because they're horrible people. I couldn't imagine saying it. It sticks out so much to me. Like, why would you wish ill will on somebody else? They didn't do anything to you. So, hey, maybe you should want to advise them on better ways to handle themselves as people and encourage them to be more positive, because we have enough negativity in the world as it is. So, hey, let me be that one beacon of light and treat people right and treat them with respect and be respectful to all.
Absolutely, absolutely. How are you doing, Smitty? You there?
Yeah.
You're on mute, I was trying to let you know.
Am I on mute?
No, you can hear you.
Yeah, all right, respect.
How are you? No, you're good now.
Yeah, respect. Nah, I feel great.
Introduce yourself and let people know where we can find you.
All right, well, yeah, respect. It's your boy Smitty. You can go ahead and catch me right here on Thursdays with Grace, you know what I mean? You can catch me at the JVJ Network every Friday, about 9 o'clock Eastern time. You can also catch me on Smitty's Corner. If you want to, you can go to IG and type in County King, no space, spell county with a K. I digress, my mic is muted. What you got for me, Grace?
Well, just a short and sweet thought on what you think about conflict and how you see conflict as it is.
I would say, as a man who, and I'm not even going off the black man stuff, just as a man and the things that I've been through, definitely conflict is something that I've had to actually not only endure, but embrace. I've had to embrace conflict many times in my life. I would say, short and sweet, conflict is something that people of peace make every possible chance they can get to avoid. All right. People who actually indulge in the conflict, like my brother right here was saying, brother Polo, salute to you. When people got to walk away from situations and they just got to give you a piece of their mind. Well, that's because they are leaving the situation and they have this feeling of unresolved resolution. See, the problem is a lot of times nowadays we are so accustomed in this day and age we're in, nobody really communicates. Nobody really wants to come out and tell somebody genuinely how they feel because so many people are concerned about hurting somebody's feelings. Now, to what you were saying, Brother Polo, when you was like, man, people are Kiki and her man wishing death on them and all that, brother, you have to recognize and remember too, because I get you on that. Because I say the same thing to myself. I'm like, you got to do a whole lot for me to not want you to live. I mean, a whole lot, bro. I mean, it takes a lot for me to get to that point. Anything else that can roll off like water on nylon, right? But you got to remember, they put death in our face so much. We continuously see these clips of kids, by their parents and neglected and all of this. So my point is, when we see all these mass shootings, when we continuously see all of these things they put in our face resulting in death, don't be surprised when people get callous to it and when people start speaking in such a way, because the fact is people see it so much. And so I believe that people speak that way because it's really more so the conditioning. It's the norm now. That was really extremely dark and taboo once upon a time. It's not like that no more, man. You got rappers talking about smoking on dead. They roll up, young brothers in blunts now, if you want to say. So I would just say that on that piece. I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out, Grace.
All righty. So with that being said, yeah, that's that. That's his statement right there. Go ahead. You have something to say?
Yeah. So I'm not the biggest 50 Cent fan, but he actually said something that I embrace it, because he said people always talk about problems. I don't look for problems, but when a problem comes to me, I say no problem. Like, I'm not gonna let nobody talk any kind of way to me. And if you come to me with the issue, then let's resolve it. Now, the way I resolve it might not be the way you resolve it, because I'm not going to use any profanity. I'm not going to cuss you out. I'm going to talk to you soft. I'm going to talk to you like a gentleman, because that's my character. But some people, they will go off the hinges because I don't use the N-word. And I didn't know that was controversial. But because I don't use it, people have come at me because I don't use it. Now, they haven't found an example that I have, but they were like, well, if you don't want me to call you that, then you can call me something else. Just whatever your name is, just because that's not my name. So why do you feel compelled to call me that? I find it insulting. I find it insulting because of how it's misused. And anybody who does not look like me uses it. Now, me and that person has a problem.
Absolutely. And Dan Bowl 360 said, communication is the #1 priority. Gary, what do we always talk about here every week? We sound like broken records. Communication, communication. And if people don't know how to communicate, then freaking learn. YouTube it. Google it. YouTube and Google everything else.
No. Grace. That's the problem. The reason why communication is so broken is because we resort to everything by pick up a device. No. You need to, if we need to divest from anything, it is social media for periods of time. Like, I was looking at a video, how it was saying to really truly like parts of reaching your higher self. Once upon a time, wasn't no like dive, take time off from social media and the internet part of that, because it didn't exist. It was something totally, truly internal. And I notice now when they talk about really reaching your higher self, if you follow me, they also talk about you have to like really get yourself away from the screens. I don't care if it's your TV, your tablet, your phone, whatever it may be. You got to get away from a screen and just kind of get back to back in them 80s, 90s days when we just was outside all day. You got to get back to that to some way. A lot of these people, thank you. But you want to know something? Watch this. They done messed that up. Now all the books are audio. Now everybody goes to the book and they just listen to the book. Do you see what I'm saying? There's no more turning the pages and smelling them. See, these are the things that really kept people in tune and in touch with themselves. So all I'm saying to land it real quick, love, is The communication is broken because honestly, these devices that so-called are supposed to enhance our technological capabilities has definitely devolved our natural social communication skills. It just has. I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out.
Another problem that many of us have is that they've people have come up in toxic families, toxic relationships. When you've grown up in a household and you see mom and dad arguing, fighting, it becomes learned behavior. I've seen people who have become adults and they, that's their behavior from what they learned. So when it comes to really communicating, you have to learn how to communicate effectively. Now, there's some people who can do it naturally. There's other people that they have to really work at it. Then you have other people that don't feel like they need that they need to do it. So whenever a conflict happens, they're clearly way out their league because they don't know how to handle it. And in many cases, it doesn't have to be a major conflict. It could be something minor, right? So circling back to the communication, I think you have a lot of people also in their upbringing. They came up in toxic households, and that has ruined it has affected a lot of people emotionally and how they communicate. I've seen it in my own family. Okay, Grace, you could go ahead.
Gary, I got a question for you.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Why is it?
Polo, did you have something to add?
Yes. Gary, when did this excuse of I was raised in a toxic environment, I only know toxic thing, when was that an excuse? I'm 43 years old.
Listen, there's people, hold on. There's people that have grown up in a toxic environment. It has never affected them. Then you have other people that have grown up in a toxic environment and it has affected them. Would you not agree?
I mean, where I'm from, it don't matter. Like you can't use that as an excuse for bad behavior is my point. And yes, certain people didn't grow up like me, or they didn't grow up like you or Grace or Smitty, but that doesn't mean that you say, hey, I'm gonna do these bad things and talk to people reckless because I was in a toxic environment. As an adult, you should be able to switch over.
And listen, I don't disagree with you on that. I don't disagree. Because right, when you become an adult, you're supposed to reevaluate yourself, if you will, and change your behavior accordingly. Unfortunately, some people, they don't do that.
Hey, Gary, what it comes down to is we have two types of folks when it comes to, like, let's say, coming from that real ghetto, impoverished, mom was smoking crack, dad in prison, brother got shot, the whole nine, right? There are too many stories and examples of folks who totally overcame that. But we have to know why. Is it because the opportunities was different or better? No. It strictly is because that person chose to apply themselves and separate themselves from what it was that they saw in their environment. They had the power of discernment to say, because of what I've seen and what I went through, I don't want my family to go through that. So what it comes down to, Gary, is choices. All right, you got folks that will go ahead and make, because that's all it's about. It's really about your decision, and your decision is based upon your power or lack thereof of discernment. I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out.
And a lot of people, they have the lack of power, right? They have the lack of discernment. And again, you would think that once you got
Gary, we all possess it. Not everybody chooses to harness it and utilize it. See, like right now, I have the same devices that we all have. I have a cell phone, I have a computer, I have, Google, whatever it is. We all can look up the same information. If people start to tell me, dang, Smitty, you seem so smart. No, I ain't that daggone smart. I'm all right with it. But the thing is, I just choose to look up information everybody else finds boring or irrelevant or whatever it is. So when we get to talking about different things, I'm more well-rounded. That's all I'm saying, Gary. Everybody has the same access. See, life is not about the equal outcome, but it's damn sure about everybody comes out that gate and you have an opportunity. You got an opportunity to make what you want out your life.
Smitty, why don't we hold more adults after 20? Well, let's just round it up. More adults after 25 accountable for their actions. No race, no gender, just anybody who's 25 or older. It's unacceptable, one, to be ignorant, two, act like you're not raised, because even if once you're no longer a child, so 25 puts you 7 years as an adult after everybody 25 should be held accountable to a particular standard of treating people well, of respecting people, and educating themselves past what their circumstances were.
That's not hard to do, my brother. That is so not hard to do. You want to know the block on that? You want to know the only problem? The only problem with that is this. See, we are in a society where now nobody is to say anything to anyone about anything. See, everything is all about, see, that's why we have to recognize how, I'm going to say it's satanic and evil. These little quotes and terms that we take as cute and fuzzy, but it has a really dark, deep undertone. Like when I'm hearing my lady, my lady say, living my best life, loving on me. Come on, bruh. See, they think that's about having self-worth. No, they ain't got nothing to do with that. See, what that turns into was a snowball of selfishness, and everything is about you. Then you become conceited. Then you're not able to see anything else around you. Bruh, I be peeping at. You see what
And let me interject 1 second.
Go ahead.
As a man, I want you to understand, I think you already know. Living my best life was an insult to all black women if they actually listened to the lyrics, because they were saying, hey, you're not doing this right. Oh, it's okay. I'm living. Hey, you're not doing this right. It's okay. I'm living my best life.
Yeah.
Woman that I'm around, if they say that shit, I go off on their ass.
I'm trying to tell you, already know, black man. You already know. So it's these type of things. So to land it. So when you're saying like we need to hold, most of us don't have no problem with that. But you want to know the issue? When those of us who do have that discernment, those of us who do see through the curtains of this sideshow, when we speak up, we get shitted on and we get torn down so bad. We get everybody saying, why don't you chill out? It ain't that serious. You're doing too much. So the thing is like, yeah, we could do that. But how many of us are really going to step up and like real deal and hold that line of accountability? See, I'm going to tell you right now, me, you, and let's take 1,000 men who real deal standing on 10 toes with this. We not enough. We just not. We gonna get swamped out by the simps who caping. We gonna get swamped out from the women who just don't want to get it and they stuck in the delusional the fantasy world. We're gonna get snuffed out by the media and what they choose to like show and try to like implicate into the minds of people of what black people consist of when that has nothing to do with it. So it's real hard for us too. So we got to get to the point where you're able to just tell somebody, hey, man, you got a booger in your nose before you go in there. Huh? What you trying to say? Nah, bro, I don't want you to go into the interview. You got a big ass booger in your nose, bro. Just go ahead, hit the mirror, get that real quick. Nah, man, what you really trying to say? I think you trying to down me. What?
Exactly.
All right, go in the party with the booger in your nose, and man, just okay, fine. And that's how some of us get. And you didn't think, because you want to know why? Because for those of us who are willing to stand up, we are willing to sacrifice a lot for our people. But I'm not about to sacrifice my peace and my sanity just for it to wound up being. I went crazy and you niggas is still going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And all I did was drive myself crazy trying to get a word into you. I need to maintain my peace, so I got to see how much of my peace is going to have to be, you know what I'm saying, withdrawn from the account. I got to check my account on my peace. I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out.
I gotta get me a closing like that. I'm coming, Grace. Don't worry. I'm gonna have me something.
You are more than welcome to use it anytime, black man. I take it as a compliment. That ain't nothing. I take it as a compliment. I would love to hear it one day, and I'm not on the panel. My man, respect.
Okay, so we're closing out what every every gentleman said on the panel, I would have to agree with a little bit of all of you guys, because one, a lot of times of how we behave as adults, people allow it to define us as adults, because two, as Smitty said, they don't take the responsibility and the accountability to change their ways. And then piggybacking off of Polo, three, they keep using it as a crutch or as an excuse to not change and become better and learn and become better versions of ourselves. And that is why Smitty, Gary D, Unfiltered Polo, Embrace the Grace are doing things like this to teach people, to open people's eyes. So with that being said, I'm actually going to give you the Cambridge Dictionary official definition of what conflict is, because as everybody knows on this show, we just don't sit here and talk our shit. I actually give you facts. I do my research so you guys can actually see that we're not just here fly by. You know, we're here for the real. So what is conflict? A clashing or sharp disagreement as between ideas, interests, or purpose. A serious disagreement or argument, an active disagreement between people with opposing opinions or principles. Conflict arises from differences both large and small, and occurs whenever people disagree over their values, motivations, perceptions, ideas, and desires. Sometimes these differences appear trivial, but when a conflict triggers strong feelings, a deep personal need is often at the core of the problem. Sometimes you may be arguing with y'all ladies, gentlemen, about how she's sick of y'all leaving the seat up all the time. And you look at her like she's crazy, then she's going over. There's really something else going on. She's just using the fact that you're leaving the seat off all the time as an excuse. And now we expect y'all to be fucking mind readers and know what's bothering us because y'all are Superman. And that is the problem, ladies, that we make, that we do. We expect men to be mind readers. We expect men to know everything that we're feeling, going through, and that's just not the case. Men are humans, just like we are. Go ahead, Smitty, because you got to get it out. You're not going to sit still in your chair. What you got to say?
Nah, I want to say it's so crazy because, you know, like me, you know, now, you know, having my home, things of that nature, I peep this. Okay, y'all hate the fact that we may leave the toilet seat up. Fine. Okay, fine. I still don't understand. Do you back up with the lights out and stuff and just kind of blindfold yourself and just hope for the best? I don't know. But my point is, you want to know what men really hate? And I'm serious, this is a real thing. Where does all the toilet paper go? Yeah. How do I get the 5,000 sheet roll? And like we down to like that last cup. I got to get the little sweat swoop with the brown after like 3 days. So I don't know what y'all do with toilet paper. I just wanted to make that clear. I don't know what happened. I don't know if your butt got teeth. I don't know if you're in there knitting socks. I don't know what happens.
I think they eat it.
I mean, like, what happens? Do you go in there and knit a blanket with it? Like, what the like? Where does it go? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I just thought about that when you talk, because I hate the toilet seat thing. The toilet seat don't cost us no money, but that toilet paper do.
First of all, we use it twice as much as y'all. We have to use it in the front and we have to use it in the back. Okay? That's one thing. We use it twice as much as y'all. Two, we usually wrap it around our hand. I can't believe we're actually talking about this, but hey, we wrap it around our hands so it don't be thin, because I don't want nothing to touch my hands.
Not at my house. I leave 4 squares on the top of the back of the toilet. That's all you get. You get 2 for the front, 2 for the back. You're not running my bill up. I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out, Ray.
Grace, I wanted to tell you. He said, what do y'all do with it? But it was really a rhetorical question. He really didn't want to know. He's just making a point that there's excessive use to the toilet paper and it is very costly to the man who provides in the household. Now, if he didn't, he wouldn't have a complaint. But since he does, damn, why the hell am I having to get these trifold and getting the 96 pack and this shit's gone in a week and a half? It's supposed to last 3 months.
Facts. Facts.
Yeah, I totally get it. And so
3 months? Nah.
And in women.
But look at how you was like, what? Look at your response. That lets me know you're a rapper. See, you're like a boxer before the match. That's how your hands look. Your hands look like the boxer before he put his gloves on and shit. I don't know what y'all be doing. Tybo boxing in there, but what? You know, I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out.
But
I'm trying to tell you what we do. I mean, I don't know about other women, but
let's move on to the next subject. Let's move on to the next subject.
You're right. Let's move on. So True Table said you have to ration it out. Okay. And then he also came back and said that we're killing the trees for real, you know. And then We Are Anish said we have to cover for more than y'all. So that's another response from a woman. We have to cover more than y'all. So with that being said, let's talk about the 4 common human reactions that people have to conflict, and we'll talk about it. When we are faced with animosity or conflict, most people react in 4 ways. And while I'm going over this, guys, think about yourselves and think about the people you deal with on a day-to-day basis and past relationship. 1, here we got the first person. His or her reaction is to fight. You react instantly without giving much thought of your actions, words, or consequences. 2, flight. You back away and avoid conflict at all costs. You don't even deal with it. Freeze. You back off. You just freeze and back off. And 3, Blue, this one's for you. You're open to resolving the conflict calmly, productively, and I'm going to add for you, positively. So which one are we? I'm going to go around the panel and I'm going to go and I'm going to ask you, which one are you? So Gary, which one are you now to this day? I know we've all experienced all 4 of these in different situations, because y'all can't tell me one, you know, at one time or another, y'all were ready to fight, flight, freeze, or face. It's the 4 F's. Okay, so Gary, which one would you say is you right now?
Well, first off, I mean, for most of my life, I've always faced it, so I fight. But as I got older and as I've matured, depending on the situation, you know, I would rather talk it out or try to resolve it, you know, in a respectful, amicable manner. But then again, there's some situations that, you know, you're gonna have to speak to them in a language that they gotta understand. You know, and sometimes that language is not going to be,
you know,
sometimes it's not. Listen, I always like to say, I give people their fair warning in the beginning, so they can't say I didn't tell them, right? Because I don't like conflict, because there's no balance with me. It's either me being calm or me going to the extreme. So with that being said, in the beginning, I always like to sort of kind of, in my own way, like I said, give people their fair warning, right? But, you know, in the way that I do it and in how I talk to them, so if something happens later on, then I'm going to have to speak to them. They can't say I didn't tell them. They can't say I didn't warn them. They can't say I didn't they didn't know. Because a lot of people, they like to have that excuse. Oh, I didn't know. I don't play that.
No, I sent you the email and the memo and the text, and I told you, and I effectively communicated that with you up front. Right, Gary?
Absolutely, absolutely. Nobody can't tell me that I didn't tell them or they didn't know. Because when I get in, because as I said, there's no middle.
I hear you. Okay.
I'm wired not to be balanced like that, right? It's I got to talk to you in the beginning because I don't want any conflict, right? I don't want any. So in order for me not to want any conflict, I'd rather talk to you in the beginning. Let's, even try to, try to work stuff out or just plan ahead in the event of, right? But they can't. But the person can't tell me that they didn't know,
Okay.
that I didn't tell them.
Okay, so Blue, tell me your perspective. Which one are you? And well, we already know which one are you. I mean, you've already said it up front that you tend to face your conflict and your outcome is always it to be positive. So let's talk about an example when you were.
Well, let's use the other night with your friend Karen. I was nice. I asked her to stop. So Smitty, I'm gonna tell you this. She was on my program. Her friend came on there. I was like, man, well, if you're on my program, I'm gonna talk to you. She kept over talking me. She was not listening to what I was saying. I gave her more than one warning. Then she wanted to play the guessing game with me on my program. I informed her, my name is at the top. I'm the host. Please just give me the information I'm asking for. She chose not to. I clicked her off. Now, I'm not going to argue with you about it. I asked you nicely as a gentleman. I didn't raise my voice. I wasn't argumentative with you. And she was totally ignoring the words that were coming out of my mouth. Now, only thing I would ask a woman, do I seem like the type of man that will put up some shit like that? No, I don't want that character. So it might not always be positive. I might want a positive resolution, but I'm not going to let you affect me negatively if you don't want to listen to me. So I strive for positivity first. I'm not running from any conflict, and I will resolve.
I would say this to that real quick, because I was writing down. I didn't know how long. I really, brother Polo, I hate that. I hate when I mean, you genuinely know. I'm being so patient right now. Inside, you are cussing this person. If you don't shut the fuck up, oh my God, this bullshit. This woman. All right, hold on. And you talking to yourself. I just, let him get it out. Okay, just be patient. But what I hate is when you go above and beyond to display your patience. And then finally, when you respond, however you may respond, whether it's cussing her out or just dropping her down politely. Now, the only thing they look at is what you did in the very end. But nobody wants to look at how, come on, man, I sat here, I gave it chance after chance. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't cuss, I did nothing. And that's what I mean by when you were saying hold folks accountable, that goes right back to that, Brother Polo. That's why we can't, because you can't even nicely be respectful and tell somebody the truth. You can't even on your own platform, which basically is your house. She came in there, she opened up the fridge, didn't wash her hands, drank out of the goddamn milk, and then she picked up the remote and put her feet up on the table. That's what she did. And she looked at you like, who are you to tell me what to do? This is my Airbnb. And that's how folks are, man. So I get you on that, brother. I get you on that. But Grace, what's the main question though? When y'all was talking about with him and Gary.
Grace?
Absolutely. So let's talk about the common mistakes that people do with conflict resolution. And we're gonna go over it. And well, I forgot to give you my perspective and what kind of person I was.
Okay.
When I was younger, I was sassy. I had a mouth on me. I was always respectful, but I always had to get the last word in. You know what I'm saying? It didn't always mean about me being right, but I always had to get the last word in. And, you know, I grew up listening to my father. Oh, it's a reaction to an action. It's a reaction to a reaction. And I wish that he was alive today so I can teach him that we don't have to react to everything. Sometimes no reaction is a reaction. And I have been working on that for years. I haven't mastered it yet. But what I do is I think before I speak. I consider my audience, who I'm speaking to, and I consider the value of the relationship of who I'm speaking to. If that's my man, I better know who I'm talking to and how I'm talking to. If I don't give a shit about you and I have no value of you and you trigger me, yeah, some gangster might come out. But through therapy and through unpacking my shit, I'm learning to embrace, to be more graceful versus so gangster. Not everything deserves conflict. Not everything deserves a reaction. Even the words that you choose to speak to somebody can either go south and cause a huger fight, or it can be positively resolved. Right, Blue? It can be positive. And you know what, guys? I'm still learning. And as a woman, you know I'm emotional. And sometimes I got to check myself. I'll find myself getting upset about something. And I'll have to count to 10 backwards and be like, okay, why is this triggering you? Why are you upset? Do you have any reason to be upset? I mean, I actually have to talk it out to myself. And that's what us females, ladies, you have to do more of. Don't be so quick to text and send that text, because once you send that text, you can't take it back. And you can't be like, oh, I'm sorry, baby. Oh, I'm this. No, words matter. And these men in these manospheres streets now, and these YouTube channels, their eyes are being wide open. They're being taught, and we can't play these same little fucking games that we've been trying to play with men all these years. It's not going to work. It's not working now anymore. Men are, not that y'all weren't smart, but men are getting onto the game. Y'all are really like stepping up now, and y'all will be like, walk away. Y'all will say no. Y'all will break up with us, and it's different now. Yes, Blue.
So this is a question I have. You know, I talk to a lot of women. Why do women feel that they can talk to men like they're a man? This is, I don't understand this. And I'll tell my guests, talk to me as if I was sitting right beside you. They said, what does that mean? I said, I'm 6'4", 320 pounds. I know in person, you're not going to raise your voice at me. I know in person, you're not going to threaten me or threaten bodily harm to me. So I want you to talk to me as if we were sitting across from each other. And also, furthermore, a woman, you're soft. You will always get more with sugar and spice, sugar and sweetness, being soft to a man. Why would you want to come at us like you're one of us? Because the resolution is not going to be the same. We're not going to go at you the same way. And some women wonder why men shut down in conversations, because most men, not all, can't articulate the words that we want to say. And we're like, you know what? Especially if she's a significant other, there's some sexual favors I'm gonna need from her. And because of these said sexual favors, I need to shut up because I know I'm gonna want these things. Women, y'all will say whatever and then apologize. But we can't afford to lose that apology because we still want and need y'all to do certain things for us and to us.
Nah, but hold on, Brother Polo. It's also an aspect you're missing. You also have the degree of men, like myself and many others. We shut down and we don't say anything because we know that silence crushes you. You hate it when we don't go back and forth with you. See, when it comes to like arguing with a woman, you know the best strategy for arguing with a woman as a man? Don't argue with the woman. You can get your point across. You can get her to get exactly where you're coming from, But if you think you about to do that back and forth shouting match, man, they built for that. Stop playing. Seriously. Seriously. They're built for that. It's like a Formula One trying to do an uphill dirt race against, a four-wheeler. It's you're not going to win. This is not your course. You see? So, I mean, we just got to remember that you got to know exactly how women operate. And unfortunately, a lot of men don't. A lot of men don't, because nowadays, when we have society telling all these women that you're just as equal as the man, you're actually better than that man. Matter of fact, sis, all you have to do is just make more money than that dude. And you got him beat by everything. Who cares how intelligent he is, what he can fix, how resourceful he is, and everything else, how well he can budget his money, his credit score. Forget all of that. No. Your paycheck says a higher digit, so you're better. So, Brother Polo, when you like, how do these women get to talking like that? What? I'm sitting here like, shit. Yeah, I know why. You see where I'm coming from? You smell me now? So, just at least remember that part of it. But other than that, I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out.
So I think that one of the things with some of these women
Okay,
nowadays.
so Blue. Go ahead, Gary. Go ahead.
So one of the things with a lot of these, I guess, modern women, it's they have that masculine energy, right? And men don't want a woman with masculine energy. And if she's being combative on top of that, that's not going to work. And that's toxic behavior. And to some women, that's exciting. Like, I've never been one to argue, right? I say my piece and that's it. Right? But unfortunately, you get some women that, yes, they want to be combative, they want to argue. And I learned many, many years ago just to say my piece and that's it, because I'm not going to do the back and forth. And I think it was, either Smitty or Blue that said that they like the back and forth. Like, you got the wrong one here. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say my piece very calmly. And that's it. We're going to keep it moving.
Okay. Well, I'm going to answer your question, Blue. Why do women think that they can go toe to toe with a man? It's because, one, they were never taught how to respect, appreciate, and value a man. That's the first and foremost. Okay, and you see a lot of that with single. I'm not saying all, and let me put this disclaimer out before anybody gets in their feelings. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if the shoe fits, wear that shit. A lot of these young modern women come from single family households, and all they heard their mothers say, niggas ain't shit. You don't need a man. Men ain't shit. Your daddy ain't shit. And when you constantly hearing that growing up, and you don't have men around you, you don't have the example of what it is to see a man and a woman interact and engage and be in a couple setting, that little girl is going to grow up with a hard skin. She's going to see her mom working 2-3 jobs just to survive, and never really saw her mother in her femininity. So as a result, here she is, and feminism tricked her. Feminism tricked her to thinking that she's equal to a man. And then when she went out there in the real world and found out that that's not the case, now they mad. So, and this is opinion based. I don't have facts, but this is how I seen it. Now, another thing is if you don't value and appreciate and respect a man, how are you going to know how to engage with a man? Most women really don't interact with men until they go to college. and you're already set in your ways. You're already 18, 19 years old. I mean, it's like a lot of girls get it and they learn, you know, the best thing for them to do when they're in college is to join a sorority. But a lot of women don't. And they keep that masculine energy. And then look at all the rap, look at the music that we listen to. Look at the things that Megan Thee Stallion says. I mean, look at the reality shows. It's what they grew up with. It's what they see. It's what is expected of them. And then you got the young men that are raised by single mothers that are out here being emotional. See, I have learned to respect when the man says to me, I'm done with this conversation, I shut up. You know, or the gentleman that I'm seeing now, he'll let me talk, he'll let me rant, and then he'll be like, are you done? And then I'm like, yeah, and then he'll ask again, are you sure? That's letting me know that he's about to talk and he does not want to be interrupted. So now that's my turn to listen. See, we a lot as women don't know how to do that. We don't listen to understand, we listen to respond. And that's one of the biggest mistakes. And ladies, I'm dropping y'all gems right now because, again, men are getting sick of it. And they would rather walk away, go hit that bottle of Jergens lotion than to deal with us. Because they rather preserve their peace than go back and forth with a woman. I'm up to the point that when I see a man engaging with me back and forth for more than 5-10 minutes or more than 5-7 texts, I'm like, oh, this is some feminine ass energy right now, because you're supposed to either stop me or come to or let me know. Go ahead, Blue, go ahead.
All right, so this is a combination of what you said and what Gary said. And Gary, I'm not coming for you. I'm gonna explain the situation, and then you let me know how you feel about it. I was talking to many women, and a couple of them told me that all men have feminine energy. I do not receive that. I say that I'm a masculine male, and I'm not feminine in any shape, form, or fashion. They went on further to say, hey, if you care for your child, your significant other, mother, or an important family member, if you show compassion for them, if you want to heal a wound, that's feminine energy. I was like, no, not from where I'm from. So I said, you know what? I'll let you have, because they had concerns, because I would say, like you said, certain women show masculine traits. They have masculine energy, right? So I was like, they said, well, yeah, if you say that, we can say you have feminine energy. I said, well, shit, if that's the case, you can keep that shit. I won't say that again no more, because I have no feminine energy in me, and I'm not budging on that. Because I have a son. When he was hurt as a child, I would nurture him back to health. I would change his diapers, whatever the case. That didn't make me feminine. And it was like, yeah, that's when you do that, that's being, no, it's not. I'm still a man caring for my child. Not. So I'm telling you what they said. So I said, not disagreeing with you, but I'm telling myself I am not calling a woman masculine because I am not a feminine male.
But Blue, you can't fall for that shit. You know what that was? That was deflection. That's women not taking accountability for their bullshit and turning around and displaying sign language to you, trying to shame you, trying to insult you, trying to make you feel guilty of it, and now they want to feel the need to be right. No, you keep saying, fuck that shit. You're masculine. You acting masculine, and it is what it is, because y'all the men, we come from men, and if they don't like it, that's why they're going to buy a dog and die alone. Whereas the women that do listen
I think go ahead, Gary. I want to get in after Gary.
I think the misconception with a lot of people is that when they hear, you know, when you're a masculine man, they think that a masculine man can't have compassion, right? A masculine man can't be nurturing to their children, or even to their partner, right? So I think that with those kind of women, that they're, you know, they're crossing the lines or mixing the signals. in my opinion, because I don't think that I don't feel that as a masculine man, if I'm, let's say, nurturing my son, right, or feeling compassion, I think that's a regular emotion. That's not like feminine energy. So, in my opinion, that they're just completely wrong about that, and they don't want to obviously take responsibility for whatever. Or, as Grace said, that's just deflection on what they don't want to deal with.
Smitty?
Yeah. So what I got is so far. All right, so look. First of all, when it comes to women, so-called being masculine, it took me a while to really come to this conclusion, but I have genuinely come to the conclusion these women are not being masculine. These women are just simply being barbaric. See, there's the difference. See, the thing is that these women think that they're emulating a masculine role. No, you're not. No, you're not. Why? First of all, we have to remember most of these women, they get their information from other women. Most women refuse to listen what men have to say about men. They just refuse to listen to us. We speak so they can be as nosy as ever, pop over into our little spaces, hear our discussions and everything, but then they'll only take it and flip it. Now, this is my thing, right? Masculinity has not really anything to do with like being loud and brute force and all of that. Masculinity truly is knowing how to lead. But true masculine men, all true masculine men at one point, they were the student. They had to follow. They had to learn how to lead. So the thing that women refuse to see, again, these little quotes that I say are satanic and evil, boss chick, I'm my own boss, all of that. Yeah, see, that is to implicate I listen to no one. That's not being masculine. That's just downright not smart to me, right? Balance. One thing I was taught from my father is that a man that is truly of masculinity is a man that has two hands, one made of velvet, one made of thunder. You got to know when to have that thunder, but you also got to know when to have that velvet, that softer touch to yourself, right? Because not every situation causes for the same type of energy via time and place, right? Last but not, no. And then right here, I got problem solving. Most men, do you know how we problem solve? We don't get to yelling like a banshee when everything's going down, when the police there. See, that's why really masculinity is knowing how to have emotional control. You all being loud and screaming and thinking that I can just scream at the police. Shut up. Go sit down. I got this. Okay, home. What are you saying, officer? All right, so what took place? Blah, blah, blah. See, that's how we handle things in a more calm, because we know how to address certain and particular situations. Why? Because men have a vision, women don't. We are naturally innate, built with like this third eye of seeing danger from all different angles, all different aspects. It's not just a person coming up with a gun. We know how to see different threats in different ways, all the way down to who you may be hanging with. And when you don't take time to listen to the leadership of that man, thus you are acting as what people will call masculine, and it's not masculine. You're just defiant, you're barbaric, and you're unhinged. That has nothing to do with real masculinity, because real masculinity, to land it, is discipline. Real masculinity is morals and integrity. I can't call myself a masculine man, but I'll get online and do anything. No, I just become an anything ass nigga. Other than that, I digress. My mic is muted. Rock.
To further expound upon what Spinny's talking about, so when men have conflict with each other, it does not sound the same as when women have conflict with each other. We can, like, I can say simply, hey, bro, don't do that. And that, oh, shit, if I know I was wrong and I'm talking to Gary, I was talking to Smitty, hey, bro, don't do that. Or, hey, it don't even have to be a full sentence. He'll know what he did.
We pick up on it. We gonna pick up the fellow man. We pick. It's innate. We pick up on it.
We don't have to do a full paragraph to explain in detail. Oh shit! I probably should. I knew
And
what
as a woman,
as a woman, you like to interrupt people.
and as a woman, I get it because.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish with your thought. I appreciate it. As a woman, I get it because when I have a conflict with a man, we hash it out. We go back to the bar, we go have a drink, and it's like nothing happened. But let me have a conflict with a woman. She want to call her best friend, her best friend mama, her auntie, and now something that was so small has generated into something so big that was unnecessary. And that's one of the main reasons why I don't surround myself with a lot of women. It is much easier to deal with men than it is with women. Women are draining. Women drain me emotionally because I cannot deal with all this back and forth. And maybe again, it's my upbringing. My dad raised me like a boy. you know, get up. My dad, I got all A's on my report card. Well, why not? They're not all A pluses. Dad, I lost 20 pounds. Well, that's like taking a cup of water out of the Pacific Ocean. I mean, you see what I'm saying? He never showed me compassion. He never showed me like empathy. He just like always expected more and more and more and better. And to the end of the day, I would always rather deal with men than women because women don't listen. They're very draining, and I give my hats off to y'all because y'all put up with a lot of shit from us, and I know why, and I appreciate y'all. But Blue, before you speak, let me get into these comments because I'm getting behind. PA Texas said, I diagnosed the conflict and see if it's worth fighting or ignoring or getting away from it. Even if I can win, it's better to run than to have a pyrrhic victory. That means casualties and win is a loss. You see, ladies, a man would rather walk away than to deal with our bullshit. And there's too many of us walking around on this earth for them to be putting up with our bullshit. And I get it. And Dan Bolt 360 said, men are really stepping up. Yes, they are. And my Queen Red Lipstick Vibes came in and said, good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. I'm not sure if you're still here, but I do appreciate you giving me a shout out. Don't forget to press that like button. Okay, I would appreciate it. So then PA came back and said, that's why women don't get money and men, because they don't respect and love those things. Things go where they are respected and loved. Absolutely. And then PA started laughing and said, did she just say lotion? Yes, I did. I said Jergens lotion, damn it. And then Casey said, words are important. Yes, they are. Words matter. And then Ricardo Allen came back, which is also Unfiltered Blue, said, you must learn before you lead. Absolutely. And then Amanda said, she said, I love this. Well, I appreciate that you love this, Amanda. So go ahead and smash that like button and donate to the channel and show your love. Money sign Embrace the Grace 23. I appreciate it. And then KC came back and said, so true. And then we got a good comment here from Death Note. He came through. And then he said, hold on, let it pop up. Taking an excerpt of masculine traits does not define masculinity in its totality. A great portion of masculinity is in the threat of aggression. That's a good one. That's a good one. If anybody has any rebuttal on that, we can talk about that when I'm done. But we as women have to hold other women accountable. And Casey, I gotta say something about that. The thing is that we're not. We say it. We say we're gonna hold other women accountable, but we never don't. We never do. Look at the backlash that Kiki's man had from women because he spoke his mind. He spoke his displeasure about what she did. Oh, she's just living her best life. She's going through postpartum. No, it was inappropriate. It was not right. And just because he showed disdain for what she did, he had to turn off his Twitter account. I mean, he got more backlash than the person that committed the mistake. So KC, it sound good. It sound real good. We need to hold women accountable. But do we actually do? Do we shame women anymore? Why do we have this single mom with 4 kids, 3 different baby daddies in the front pew at the church? Why? They should be sitting in the back. But we don't do that. We okay all this bullshit, and it has become norm behavior. And that is why these men have so much spilled milk to clean up. Because I hate to tell y'all, gentlemen, it started with y'all. We finished. We made it worse, and now in order for it to get better, it's gonna be up to y'all kings to step up to the table and grab your head of the table like y'all should, and really take control. Because for many years, because y'all are fed up with us, y'all been sitting on the sidelines. But I mean, it's gotten so bad that y'all can't sit on the sidelines anymore. Y'all got to take control of the situation, because if y'all obviously see what's going on right now, it's not working. Yes.
Grace. Okay.
Yes.
Bravo. See, again, there's a problem to that. See, the thing is that you'd be surprised how many men, I mean, oh so eagerly and desperately want to do exactly what you're saying. I'm talking about starting now, tonight, right now. How many men want to do that? See, the thing is, Grace, is that where it also falls into the hands of is other women. See, there are too many women. You know what's just as dangerous as the modern woman herself? Are the chicks that aren't them, who actually know that what they're doing makes most women look bad. It gives you guys a bad name and everything else. But the women who don't indulge in these things, but they still say nothing. See, the thing is that regardless if they call you guys pick-me's or whatever, I promise you, sis, if you're listening, you got a much better chance of getting through to them than I ever will. I promise you. So far right now, so you got a lot of men, we damn sure want to do that, but when society continuously tells us, I'm talking about men aren't even allowed to have standards. If I just say, I don't want a woman that got makeup and weave too much, I'm looked at as like misogynistic and all that. Like, you got to understand how much under the gun and behind the 8 ball we are. We want to stand up. We want to say something. We will do it instantly. And as a matter of fact, many have. Now let's go back to Brother Kevin Samuels. Okay, live in paradise to the brother. A lot of people still, at the end of the day, look at how they treated him when he passed away. I mean, they literally spit and pissed on that man's grave, damn near, man. And honestly, they just couldn't get it. Okay, regardless of if he might have came off and sounded a certain way, just like Brother Polo said, I was so patient with the chick. How many times have we seen that? He's been real patient. Okay, how you doing, ma'am? Da-da-da-da-da. And still, somehow or another, they gotta turn it into, is something wrong with him and his message? You don't think us as men, we're not looking at this? So it's a lot of men that saying, do I want to be the next sacrificial lamb? Do I want to be the next one to go up on that altar? You know what I'm saying? So it's difficult. So to land it, Grace, a lot of this really is, I'm telling you, ladies, y'all got to step up and talk to the ladies, because us as men, we always talk to the men. Let me go around my homies, and it's just been let me just not smell right, and they can tell I ain't got a shape up or I ain't trim. Bro, What's going on, Smitty? You all right, bro? Like you know, like even if we like say it in a joking way, we gonna let that bro. Ain't gonna be no. Nah, go ahead, bro. He just living his best life. He all right, man. He just loving on him. He just loving on him with his stinking ass self. No, bro. We are going to get on each other about that, even down to just our appearance, let alone our code of conduct in society. So Grace, continue to do what you're doing, but I'm telling you right now, ladies got to say a lot more, and I don't care how hard they come at you. Keep on drilling it in their head, sis. This is not the way. And I promise you, those of us, we right there with you. We right there, right behind you. I promise you, we right there behind you. I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out.
I'm with him. I think that it's more important.
Okay, so guys, let's. No, go ahead. Finish your.
You know she got a delay. Delay, Polo. Yeah.
All right. So it's more important for you as a woman to talk to other women. The men, I'm gonna be honest. Between me, Smitty, and Gary, and a couple of we got that. We can hold other men accountable. We don't have to yell at them in public. We can pull them to the side, have a gentlemanly conversation, and start correcting things. We can't do that to women because they're going to want to argue with us. They're going to want to disagree. They're going to want to cause, like you said, misogynistic or not empathetic or whatever the case. But it has to come from a woman to say, hey, I understand what you're going through. I'm going through the same thing, but we're not going to get different results if we keep doing the same thing. They call that insanity. If you keep doing the same thing, expecting different results and knowing that you're not going to get them, and you want to be giving passes instead of holding to standards, like men are always held to a standard. If you're an adult gentleman, you're held to a standard. How you present yourself, how you speak, your haircut, your clothes, your shoes, the money you make, everything is always judged by everybody. And we know that. And you know what? I didn't really sign up for it, but that's the deal I got, and I'm fine with it. Let's move forward. Women, oh, well, you know, I got my bonnet on. I don't have my hair done. Oh, my nails aren't done. Oh, they got 50-minute excuses, except me 4 a.m. But every man, they have 20 different checklists that they have to make in order for them to qualify for them. They have to make changes and understand that, like you said, they're going to get a dog, a cat, a fish, and die alone.
And it's not just going to be a dog. The dog is now their son.
Absolutely. So
the dog is literally the son. The dog don't even walk. The dog is in a carriage. The dog gets put literally in I've seen it. Baby stroller. Yes, with bows on it and everything. They just done lost their damn minds. Talking about, I need to go heal. You need some therapy. Who hurt you? Ma'am, you got a whole damn puppy in a baby carriage, and you asking me who hurt me. I'm sorry. I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out, bro.
Okay, so let's talk about the common mistakes that we do with conflict resolution, avoidance. A lot of us just really like avoid shit. We sweep it underneath the carpet and thinks that it's gonna poof, magically go away. Okay, we ghost people when there's conflicts. We do now. It's the new thing. It's called ghosting. We overgeneralize the need to be right. If we always want to feel that we need to be right, we psychoanalyze too much. We forget to listen. We start playing the blame game, trying to win a situation or a conflict rather than resolve the conflict. And these are common things that people do. And we as people, we need to start recognizing what the next person is doing so we can now in turn know how to react. Oh, this person's full of shit. They just want to blame me for everything. Or this person is trying to avoid this conversation. And then you know how to move accordingly. So I'm bringing up this topic. Kenneth Thomas and Ralph Kilman developed a 5 conflict resolution strategy that people can use to handle conflict, including avoiding, defeating, compromising, accommodating, and collaborating. But this is only going to work, people, on the assumption that people choose to be cooperative and how assertive to be in a conflict. Everyone has their own way on how to deal with conflict, but most of us use all the methods under different circumstances. It's helpful to understand the 5 methods, particularly when you want to move forward to come to a resolution positively. That's for you, Blue. Since you always want to end up on a positive note. So the first method, the first method is avoiding conflict. Avoiding is when people just want to ignore and withdraw from conflict. They choose this method when the discomfort of confrontation exceeds the potential reward of resolving the conflict. Nothing gets resolved when conflict is avoided. I want you guys to think back of a person or situation when you knew shit had to be resolved and they totally avoided it. Did it work for them? Did it work for the situation? Another method is competing. Competing is used by people who go into conflict just planning to win. They need to be right. They're assertive, combative, closed-minded, and argumentative. Exactly. But they're not being cooperative. This method is characterized by the assumption that one side wins, you, and everyone loses, and it doesn't allow room for diverse perspectives into a well-informed total picture. Now, this kind of method is good for sports and war, but it's rarely a good strategy for problem solving. It's not about being right, ladies. It's about getting to a resolution and moving on and getting to the good part of the relationship. You know, who wants to fight all night when we could be doing something much, much, much better at night versus arguing? You know, and then one of Gary's pet peeves is don't argue with him while he's at work. Don't, you know, the man's at work. He lets it be known early on, when I'm at work, don't fuck with me when I'm at work. Ain't nobody got time for that, and I get it. The man needs his peace. The man wants to be able to be productive, and us women, and we constantly texting negative things, texting stupid shit, you know, getting that man off track, off his thought process. You keeping a man up all night knowing he got to get up early in the morning and get behind the rig. Oh, and then you wonder he crashes and shit, and now he's gone. Was that argument and the need to be right worth it? When maybe y'all could have talked about it while he's driving the next day and he's got his Bluetooth in, and even then it may not be a good time to talk about it. You know, we gotta pick timing. I also think that timing is important. There's a lot of conflicts that I go through with people, but I hold it in the chamber. I wait for a good timing to bring it up, or sometimes I'll let them bring it up, so it doesn't look like I was the one with the conflict. You know what I'm saying? I'll let them bring it up, and then I'll say my piece. We gotta know when to move and how to move, especially with the people you move with. Another method that a lot of people use is called
Grace,
accommodating.
did you know?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
My bad, love. You know where a lot of that comes from? A lot of that comes from when we actually have the real leaders, the real chiefs, the real alphas, and alpha only means first. That's it. Remember that. Alpha means one, first, right? Beginning. So when we have all of this wisdom and information, we have to remember, we have to take it in. So if the women are not going to listen to the men on how to move, if we're out, Grace, and I'm like, all right, nah. You know what? Come on, let's go get in the car. I don't need you at that moment to be like in the middle of the session. Hold on, what? All loud. Why? Hold on, what? Why are we leaving? Dang it. What I needed you to do in that moment was recognize I just peeped some stuff. I'm not about to be loud about it. The way we getting ready to move, we just gonna quietly go ahead. No, we just, run into the car real quick. Hey, baby, come here real quick. Come here. Let me holler at you real quick. We're gonna go ahead quietly. We're gonna go upstairs. No. Get in the car. Get in the car. Because maybe it was something inside that party or something that I saw that you weren't able to. But because you weren't able to listen to the leadership and how to move, now what? I got to jump on a grenade? We both could have avoided that. Do you see? So just remember, knowing how to move comes from the ones.
I agree with you.
I'm landing it, baby. Knowing how to move comes from the one who lead the movement. It comes from the ones who are at the head of the pack. When you stray off from the pack, that's when you wound up lonely and you might starve and pass away because you left the pack. You left that group. You ever seen geese fly? You ever seen how it's one in the front? You got to know how to keep steer of things. I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out.
Okay, so the number 3 method we use is accommodating. Accommodating is a strategy where one party gives into the wishes or demands of the other person. They are being cooperative, but not assertive. This is a gracious and graceful way to give in when one figures out that they have been wrong at an argument. And this is one of the biggest pet peeves that I have about people, whether it's relationship, work. I hate it. And rest in peace to Gary's grandma, because she was like this too. I hate when a person is wrong and strong. You know you fucked up. You know you was wrong. And you still want to argue about it? You got to know when to fold. And I lose more respect for a person when they do that than the whole conflict in itself. Because if you was wrong, it may not look wrong to you. You may feel that it's not a big deal. You may feel that I'm overreacting. You may feel all those things. But deep down, a lot of people know they fucked up. You know you didn't fuck up. You know you didn't. But you still want to be, you know what I'm saying? I will walk away and be like, you can't reason with unreasonable and irrational. So if you can't see where you were wrong, and if you stole $500 and you know that's wrong, and you still trying to make it sound good, well, I needed it for this. My mama was sick, but you stole the money. You took that money without asking. So you want to argue the fact that I'm tripping versus the fact. And I have no respect for people that do this. And whoever does this, y'all need to check yourselves, because that shit makes you look so grimy. It's unbelievable. I will never really deal with a person like that again. So not to say when you accommodate, you merely preserve harmony and avoid disruption. Like avoidance, it results in unresolved issues. If you're too accommodating, you're still not resolved. Whatever you like. Well, I don't want whatever you like. We're still not resolving, because at the end of the day, you're not happy. Too much accommodation can result in where one tends to be the most assertive party, command the process, and take control of most conversations. At the end of the day, we're still not resolving the conflicts, because now you're pissed off because you didn't give in to everything. A man doesn't want you to give in to everything. He wants you to listen and understand. We have a right to voice our grievances, but it's how we voice them. Trust me, I have learned timing. If I want something from a man, like Blue was saying, you get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. All that yelling and all that rah, 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 and all that combative shit. Again, a man is gonna shut down, put his headphones on, and continue playing his PS5 or do whatever he does, or go out and leave with his boys. And that's really going to piss you off even more.
You know, something else, Grace?
You got to... What's up?
No, I was just going to say, even deeper, like,
What's
a
up?
lot of women don't even get this. Because of how simple men are. You know, all of that, I'm not bringing you a plate. Not doing, listen, do you not realize just simple stuff like you having that man's clothes laid out, maybe his favorite pair of sweatpants and his shirt or whatever, get some boxers and had that laid out because he on his way home from work and he gonna hop in the shower. Already had that laid out. Baby oil, baby powder, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? You know the move. You know the move, right? So when y'all do little stuff like that and then I get out the shower, that's already laid out. You go ahead, get my back for me, little things. And while you're doing that, you're asking me how my day is. My point is, do you not realize that when you truly show that you are about that man, you don't have to ask for nothing? We are so eager to just like out of nowhere, just do stuff for you. We want to give you the best of what we have. That right there is what's going to push us to put in those extra hours. Why? So we can go ahead and take that trip. Well, I'm trying to surprise you. Yeah, baby, I got the tickets. Let's go ahead. And we want to do it. You don't never really have to like press no man to do nothing. But again, when women don't listen to men speak about men, not you, love, right? Then these are the things that they miss. Let you really show you on that man's page. Let you really show an interest in whatever craft or whatever he may be doing. Even if you're not into it, you're into it because he's into it. Because he loves to do it. And you really show an interest in that. I promise you, there is nothing that man won't give you and do for you. I'm talking about considering you got, a stand-up man. I'm not talking about the Pookies and Ray Rays. We leave them out of the equation. I'm talking about the real stand-up men, especially like the brothers up here on this panel, and many, many more, right? There is nothing we won't do for you, y'all. All you got to do is just play your part. Add to the piece. Don't take from it. You don't have to be so demanding. Don't come off like everything is about you, because little do you know, most men who are established and secure and everything else, all that, yeah, I want to come in, maybe I can help you, but I don't need you to help build nothing. There's no, you know what I'm saying? Like everything's paid for, we're good. All I want you to do is come in, and I just want you to add, I just now want someone to share this space with. I just want some company around here, really, more than anything. And if you can't recognize that, then, take it or leave it. But a lot of women don't want to look at that, Grace. They make it so complicated. I'm going to be real with you to land it right here. Relationships, honestly, are not as complicated as people make it to be. It's not. It really is a ABC 1, 2, 3. We both come to the conclusion, hey, I'm with you, you with me. And you want some sexual gratification? I don't care what you do at the clubs or whatever, or I'm talking about, when you're out, if you party with your homegirls, make sure you come home to me. If you go out and have some fun with your homegirls or your cousins or whatever, make sure that's what you do. A lot of people make this shit so complicated, and it's not. It's not. Communicate. Do you feel some kind of way? Say something. Don't hold that shit in. Don't go online. Don't go talking to your homegirls. Don't go talking to your mama and everybody else. Talk to the person you got an issue with. Call me. Hit me up. Be like, hey, babe, look, I'm going to come by. Look, let's just make a little meal, but I want to talk. We need to talk. Okay, all right, cool. Let's talk. I don't care if it's good or bad, because no matter what it is, if you're really dealing with a masculine men embrace challenge. There's something going on. I embrace a problem solving. I embrace the fact that there's something that needs to be fixed. You actually just gave me some more purpose. All right, bet. What's going on? You ain't got to duck and run nothing. I can go on and on, man. I digress. My mic is muted, man. Y'all got me flaming.
Ladies, what Smitty just said is absolutely right. And I learned this move from my mama. My dad would melt like butter around my mama because she kept her femininity. And it's like taking candy from a baby. My dad was a hard-ass Sicilian man, but around my mom, he was like butter. Why? Because she respected him. All the little things that Smitty spoke of, if she didn't do it personally, she would delegate it to have it done. My job, and I always tell this story, my job when my dad came home from work, working 12 hours at the factory that he owned, was to rub his goddamn feet with Bengay. And I hated it. Because then my fingers would smell like Bengay the whole night and sometimes the next day at school. But that was my job. I had to do it. I had to serve my brother first because he was the next man in the house. It's the little things. And men do notice. They may not say something right away or right then and there, but they put it in their Rolodex and they notice. And when you want that bag or you want a new car, they add all those little tally up, all those little things. And then they remember all them nights you gave them that good, and you get what you want. But you're not going to get what you want being constantly argumentative, uncooperative, not listening, not cooking his meals, not giving him the biggest piece of chicken first. Fuck them kids. You feed that man first. Okay? Because that man was there before the kids, that man's going to be there during the kids, and that man's going to be after the kids. And when they leave at 18 and leave your old raggedy ass alone, who's still going to be there? Your man. And again, we're not talking about the Pookies and the Ray Rays. We are talking about the upholding men in the community, which, by the way, 53% of men, 53% of Black African American males are single and childless. So it's y'all that having babies with the same fucking Pookies and Ray Rays and then talking about niggas ain't shit. But that's, you know, I'm just.
That's another show.
Saying. I have to collaborate. People are both assertive. What's another show?
No, I was just joking because you mentioned about the Pookies
Gary,
and
what's
the Ray
another
Rays.
show?
No, I was saying when you were saying about the women having the same kids with Pookies and the Ray Rays over and over, I joked and said that's a whole nother show.
Yeah, right? Yeah, let's put that down on our list. So collaborating is another method that we use. It's used when people are both assertive and cooperative. It allows for each participant to make a contribution with the possibility of co-creating a shared solution. That is the whole point of conflict resolution. We want to get to a solution because a man don't want to hear about that bullshit 2 weeks later. They want to get it resolved, they want to fix it, and they want to move on. A great way to collaborate and overcome conflict is just reach out and touch them. Call them. Hey, just like Smitty was saying, hey, I hate saying, hey, we need to talk. Because in a way that already sets up a man like, oh shit, here we go again. You know what I'm saying? So I don't use that. I said, babe, when you come home, I need us to spend a little time together. You know, because as soon as a woman says, babe, we need to talk, he thinking, oh shit, I ain't getting no pussy tonight. She probably didn't even cook. She mad about something I did 3 months ago. What the hell did I do? It's just like, come on, man. We as women got to do better. Like Smitty said, and Blue and Gary be saying, and I be saying, it really is taking candy like from a baby, but you got to do it right. You got to move in your femininity. You can't get what you want being a bitch all the time. It's just not going to work. And then, guys, the last one is called compromising, where participants are partially assertive and cooperative. The concept is that everyone gives up a little bit of what they want, but nobody gets everything of what they want. The perception of the best outcome when working by compromise is that which splits the difference. Compromise is perceived as being fair, even if no one is particularly happy, but at least there's a final outcome and resolution. So you give a little bit, you get a little bit. But a lot of us women, we walk around being so fucking self-entitled and think that our shit don't stank and that a man owes us everything and we give nothing. And that is not the case. Y'all women don't understand that there's too many of us single out here, and men have their choice of they picking. And if you don't care and you want to buy a dog and die alone, you don't care about being by yourself for the rest of your life, then hey, by all means. But don't come to my store when I'm working being fucking miserable and bitter and lacking and suffering from lackadicophobia and taking that shit out on me. Because that's how y'all be walking around. You say you don't want a man. Wait, hold on. Let me finish. You say you don't want a man. You say you don't need a man. You say you don't need no dick. But you walk around being fucking and snappy and snippy and take it out on the rest of us. And I don't want to deal with y'all women that are like that. Okay? Because no, it's not happening. What you got to say, Smitty?
I love y'all. I love us. I do. I love us.
You there, Smitty?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Why?
I respect.
Yeah, I can hear you.
What I've learned is this. Now, this is also why children being brought up in nuclear homes and families is so important. It's not just mom and dad's together. It's also about what they experience throughout the years. I'm now 40. My mother and father is 68 and 69. Their life is not about trips. Their life is not about, how stunning can we look on the gram. See, what I don't think we really try to take time to recognize is what longevity really is about, right? Their whole relationship at this point is really like, this is like, all right, so watch, boom. I love this. My father told me this example. He said, Mike, when me and your mother first started off, right? He said, we started off like this, right? Like this, face to face. Whether it was a sexual encounter, hey, how you doing? Everything was face to face. He said, once we got to the stage of where we are now, everything is now this. We are now no longer looking towards each other. We're both looking in the same direction out. That is now the person that I walk through this life with. And this is like literally like my companion. My mother helps my father, like when it comes to maybe picking up medication, things of that nature. He helps with things like cutting the grass and things, so she don't have to pay extra money to go ahead and get other people to do it. So my point is, these women do not think about when you get to that elderly stage. See, sis and them not going to be around. I'm telling you now, they're not going to be around. And it's going to come to a point. You're going to be sitting around and that dog's not going to be good enough. The cat's not going to be good enough. Whatever it may be, vibrator, you name it, it's not going to be good enough. You are going to naturally yearn and desire to have another person right there by your side in that home. And it's going to be nothing you can do to fight that yearning and that feeling. But what's going to happen is so much pain and despair is going to come upon you, because you're going to then look back and recognize all the times that you denied that opportunity. Because you were too focused on sissing. You was too focused on hot girl summer. You see? So that's the only thing that I just wanted to put on that. You know, yeah, but they don't even realize living your best life is when you can actually sit on that porch. Like, most women don't think about this. Sitting on that porch. Yeah, and I'm going to say it. And y'all rocking back and forth. Maybe you got a little swing or something like that on the porch. You might even be looking at your grandchildren, whatever pets you got and things of that nature. And y'all just sipping on some lemonade, tea, whatever it may be. Non-sugar, that is, because you know we older now. We up there in age and stuff. So we got the diet type. And we just really, really enjoying and embracing what it is that we have, you know what I'm saying, that we can look back on. Women don't realize you have to go through something with that man. You have to have an up and a down, because you have to be, because that's the only way that you're going to have something to be able to look back on. You have something to look back on, because You went through something. If you give up just because you know what, I don't think he's reading me right, girl. Yeah, I got vibes. I feel some kind of way. I burned some sage last night and it don't feel right. Okay, all right, you go ahead and roll out. But other than that, I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out, Grace.
And I appreciate that. Now, guys, we're actually, Sir Hale, can you hear us? Are you there?
Loud and clearly. What's going on, Miss Grace? What's going on with you? What's going on with Mr. Ricardo? What's up, Gary? What's up, Smitty?
He must have been busting out the steams. If he's coming up here, he got something to say, and I appreciate you coming up here, but it's not showing up yet. When we're able to hear you and see you, Sir Hale, there we go. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Can you guys hear me as well?
Yeah, we're good.
Yep.
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah. I just thought this was a good conversation, Grace, because number one, let me get into some real meat real quick. It's too many people overestimate themselves. They think that they bring more than they actually do, and we underestimate what the other person brings as well. And I just think it's real important that people are honest with themselves. And I like what you said moments ago, that when it comes to compromise, you don't get everything. But here's what I notice people focus on. They focus on what they're not getting. You know what I mean? Like they focus on he's not all the man that I want him to be. He may not be making as much money as I want him to be. And she never stops to think that maybe she's not all that he wants her to be, right? And I think when people approach relationships that way, it's real easy to become selfish and to assume that you're not getting a good deal because you feel like you're everything, while that other person still has a lot more work to do to catch up to your great self, right? So I love what you said. Compromising is not about just what you're not getting. The other person is not getting something as well. And as long as you two can appreciate what you guys do bring and then work to get better, compromise should, the threshold for compromise, people say the 80-20 rule. I think that if you really love somebody, over time, that it should go from 80 to 81 to 82, 82.5. Slowly but surely, we should be trying to get better because we don't want to live in a perpetual state of compromise. We want to constantly be working to please each other, especially in long-term committed relationships.
Can I ask you a question, brother?
Absolutely.
Oh, my man, respect. Briefly, so I like how you said that when it's like when one person feels like I'm everything and blah 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 and more selfish with the intent of the relationship. Who would you say, honestly, more times out of 10 has that mind state? Would it be the men or the women? And whoever you pick, why?
Yeah, so definitely women. And it's a real simple answer. So spin the VX's question, go right offline. Yeah, so that's a really good question, and I'll say it like this: mostly women, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's because we place pussy so high on a pedestal, right? And most women believe that as long as they got that, and you're after that, then good character, patience, peace, temperament, gratitude, so on and so forth, don't really matter. And it's women, but I think it's in part because so many of us men pedestalize. The P, we pedestalize it, and I think that's what it is. Yeah, but that's it, Grace. Appreciate you letting me up.
I appreciate you coming up, and you had a lot of value to this, and I really appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate you, and good to see you, Gary, and good to see you again on Filter Polo.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming up.
So guys, we're almost done. I do have here 4 steps that we can easily remember, 4 steps to resolve conflict. And there's the word care. C. Gary, this is one's for you. Communication. Open communication is key in any conflict, dispute, relationship, etc., etc., etc. Communication, people. To my embracers, my unfiltered blue followers, Gary D's followers, Boardwalk Global Media, Smithy County Corner, County King, communication. Nothing gets resolved if there's no communication. A, Actively listen and listen to what the other person has to say. Listen to understand versus to respond. If you really care about this person and you really want to move forward and resolve conflict, you must listen to what the other person has to say without interrupting. And I know I'm working on that. I'm not perfect with that. I know that I tend to do that as well. So I'm taking accountability for my behavior. R, review options. Talk over options. Look for solutions that will benefit everyone. It's not fair that the man goes to bed with no pee, nothing resolved, and you still want to be an itch about shit. Let's make it reverse. There's no reason why the woman should go to bed frustrated, upset, and feel like no resolution came at hand. But again, were you willing to accommodate? Were you willing to compromise? Were you willing to listen? And E is the last thing, and I guess Blue, this one's for you. And with a win-win solution, positively. Let's get a positive outcome. Let's get a positive resolution. Because you guys, at the end of the day, most people, men, women, children, we don't want to be in conflict with each other. We don't want to be in arguments. We want to come home at peace. We got to deal with bullshit at our jobs all day. We got to deal with our parents. We got to deal with our kids. We got to deal with our businesses. And then we got to come home and deal with y'all too. So with that being said, we're doing good for tonight, Gary. We were on track, and I appreciate everybody that you know was very respectful, didn't overtalk anybody. But we're gonna go straight into our final thoughts, because I tend, and when anybody knows me, my max is 2 hours. My max is 2.5 hours, and my tap out is 3 hours. It's all depending how it's going. And tonight, I am very happy with tonight, gentlemen. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate you. I appreciate the respect. But hold on, Blue. So we're gonna go around the panel. Gary, I'll leave you for last. Blue, you'll go, then Smitty. I want some final thoughts on a wrap around of everything we talked about and what you have to say. So go ahead, Blue. You started off. What are your final thoughts about everything that we talked about, conflict resolution?
I would say, just overall, know the results you want. Be results driven. Communicate. In case of a situation where you're dealing with a female who doesn't listen, over communicate. Be prepared. Be stern. Be assertive. And know that hey, listen. Sometimes it's going to take me not talking in order to get the results that I want. I can't say certain things. You can't say everything. You're not going to get the results you want. And make sure she understands. And if you're in a relationship with her or pursuing a relationship with her, let her know. I still, even though if I'm disagreeing with you, you shouldn't be able to take away sex from me. And you know that I still want to be with you. And everything else should handle itself.
And where can we find you on Blue? Let the people know.
Actually, as soon as I got a couple minutes, Unfiltered Polo Blue on YouTube and Unfiltered Polo Blue on Instagram. Monday through Thursday, normally 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. It might vary, but Unfiltered Polo Blue on both platforms.
All right, and sir, thank you for coming. I enjoyed you. I know we're collaborating. You guys come check me out on Filter Polo Blue on Thursday nights on his show. No, Tuesday nights. I'm sorry. Tuesday nights on his show. I'll be a guest on his show. So come check us out over there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and let people know what's going on, because we're moving in these streets. Okay, Smitty, you're up.
All right. So just overall,
What are your final thoughts?
I mean, as always, definitely Grace, and I'm not just saying this. I promise you, I wouldn't be popping up if I didn't definitely really like the frequencies of what it is that you do up here. I definitely appreciate the topics and discussions that you be having. And you really are growing. You really are. So I'm definitely proud to know and say, I've been here with you. You know what I'm saying, from the beginning phases, and I just want to continue to see you grow. So this has been a great show so far. I mean, absolutely, once again. But other than that, of course, like I said, you can catch me on JBJ Network. All right. Every Friday. That will be 9 o'clock Eastern time. And you can also definitely find me on Smitty's Corner. That's YouTube. And you can also catch me on County King. All right. Spell County with a K, no spaces. Instagram. No underscores, no nothing. Real simple. Other than that, I digress. My mic is muted. Thank you once again, Grace. Respect.
Thank you, Smitty. Thank you for coming. My co-host, Gary. What are your final thoughts on the show and conflict resolution?
It was definitely a good show, a very, very spirited discussion. Look, when it comes to conflict resolution, I think that one, how much does this person matter? Do you value this person? Whether you're in a relationship with them or you're at work, what's the value of this person? Now, if they're of value, then you want to take the time to really effectively communicate with them and come to a resolution. But if there's someone that they're not of value and they don't mean anything to you like that, then just keep it moving. Y'all could find me on The Real Discussion on Boardwalk Global Media. We're on every Friday night from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time. We're actually building we're upgrading our studio, so we'll be back on air with all our shows on September 7th. So I hope y'all come over. You can catch us on Facebook under The Real Discussion or Boardwalk Global Media. You can catch us on Instagram, The Real Discussion and Boardwalk Global Media, and on YouTube you can catch us on Boardwalk Global Media, and we're distributed through all the major platforms.
Thank you, Gary. Again, thank you for always showing up, giving me that consistent support. I really appreciate you. All the conversation. People may think that we only talk when it's showtime, but we're constantly collaborating and
Absolutely.
talking about shows, and I really do appreciate you. So now, with me, guys, my final thoughts. We are all going to encounter conflict, whether it is with our spouses, significant others, parents, kids, work, etc., etc. But you can choose to go the toxic way and handle conflict, or you can embrace to resolve conflict gracefully. Get to the root of the issue. Choose how you're going to approach the conflict and the person. Empathize with them and put yourself in the other person's shoes. Address the conflict to resolve the conflict, not just to be arguing, and not to respond to win and degrade. We're here to resolve issues, to handle things in a better way, so we all can become better versions of ourselves. So again, thank you for coming out. Thank you for y'all support. I appreciate it. Don't forget to press like if you haven't pressed it yet. Don't forget to drop a cash app if you haven't dropped it yet. If you like what you heard from Unfiltered Polar Blue, from Gary D, Smitty's Corner, salute to Sir Hale. Thank you for coming through. I really appreciate that. And as for me, you can find me, of course, here on Embrace the Grace, the YouTube channel. I got to remember all this now. You can find me on Tuesday nights at the Unfiltered Polo Blue. You can find me on Global Media, Broadwell Global Media. You can find me on JVJ Network on Thursday nights. You can find me on the JVJ Network on Friday nights. You can find me on Super Sunday Sir Hales on Sunday nights. I'm all over, guys, because I'm really trying to get the word out. I want people to have better, happier, and healthier relationships. So when I have to deal with y'all at customer service, y'all just happy people and not miserable and bitter and suffering from lack of dick or coochie phobia, because it is not nice to deal with y'all when y'all walking around here miserable and bitter. Yeah, I had to say that. So guys, I appreciate you. Thank y'all for coming out. Peace. Have a good night, gentlemen. Take care.